Jays fans, Mariners fans, because I know there's going to be plenty of you guys here. Didn't expect to be talking trade with you guys, at least not this early. But here we are, and we've all seen the news by now, and it took me a few minutes to kind of gather myself and think about what I wanted to say. But the Blue Jays make their first big trade of the offseason. I said it in the season review, offseason preview, that I would be shocked if we had 3 catchers going into next year, and I would be shocked if either Teoscar Hernandez or Lourdes Gurriel Jr., I wouldn't be shocked if one of them got dealt. And I was right. Because Teoscar Hernandez gets traded to the Seattle Mariners. Interesting. We play them in the playoffs, and then you deal them to them. It's a little bitter in that way. The Jays do receive Erik Swanson, who is a very vital bullpen piece for obviously the Mariners, and I know they're going to try and say, well, no, he wasn't really. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care. You know, what he was for you guys. We know you have an elite bullpen. No doubt about it. The Jays, not so much, as you guys saw in that playoffs. They also receive Adam Macko, who's a 21-year-old kid in advanced A-ball. We'll talk about him in a bit. But first off, I'll stick with Seattle Mariner fans. And if you guys have watched any of my videos in the past, you know, yes, I'm a diehard Jays fan, absolutely. But I'm a baseball fan. So I'm going to tell you straight up what Teoscar Hernandez is. Love Teo. Love what he brought to this team. Went through those dark years. And then, obviously, a couple Silver Slugger awards. Well-deserved Silver Slugger awards. Really changed his approach at the plate. He's got a lot of power. To right center field, that's kind of his area. Unless he gets one to pull, and then he'll just absolutely slaughter it. The strikeouts are there. There are quite a few. But I think what the Jays wanted to do, there were so many different things. One, he's an expiring contract. At the end of next year, Teoscar Hernandez is a free agent. Whether he signs with Seattle or he walks, he'll be in free agency kind of thing. But in the outfield, and I know people are going to say as Mariner fans, well, you know, you're going to lose Mitch Haniger possibly, which I think with this move, it kind of solidifies that. So Teoscar Hernandez is going to win, right? That's fine. Well, Mariner fans, I'll tell you this much. Teoscar's got a hell of an arm. Really good arm. His routes to the ball will leave you pulling your hair out. And quite a few times, the effort on balls will really, really make you pull your hair out. So yeah, you're going to get the long ball, for sure. Right? He's going to give you that power bat, which is really nice. He's a great player. I love him dearly. We all do in Toronto. But there were a lot of holes in his game. And love him. Obviously, you never want to trade one of your better players in sports, right? But in the Jay situation, with all the contracts coming up, right? Gurriel's going to need a contract at the end of next year. You want to sign Bo and Vladdy. Like, there are Alek Manoah, you're going to want to get him locked up or something like that. Romano's going to need a deal at some point. Like, you're going to have to make these moves. So that's why I was kind of waiting for one of these dominoes to fall, and it was Teoscar Hernandez. But defensively, effort-wise, all year long, Jays fans are just hammering Teo because it's like, yeah, you got the long ball, and when he connects on one, that thing goes a long way. However, you don't win games on how far you hit a ball, right? Obviously, in a sense you do if you hit it out of the ballpark, blah, blah, blah. But it's like you could hit it 399 and be a wall scraper. You could hit it 460. It doesn't really change the outcome. It looks nicer, don't get me wrong. The swing and miss is there in his game. Defensively, routes to the ball is painful. But hell of a good player. I'm not going to take anything away from Teo. Yeah, there are holes in his game. But the smile is infectious. Great player. Great teammate, clearly. And he's definitely going to be missed by the Jays. And you saw Vladdy's post on Instagram. He's going to miss him too. But in the end, the writing was on the wall. The Jays, not that they had to make this move, but you trade from a spot of surplus to get something that you really don't have much of. And that's bullpen. Depth, whether he's going to be a late inning guy, whether he's going to be like a 7th inning guy, or whatever Erik Swanson's going to be. Now let me flip to Jays fans. I gave Mariner fans kind of the lowdown on Teoscar. What did the Jays get in return? Now, obviously, I can't speak from experience. Mariner fans will give it to me, and I know they'll probably bash Erik Swanson like crazy because they want to say they won the trade. And hey, you know what? Honestly, if I look at it swap for swap and player for player, yeah, they probably won this trade in that sense. But I don't think the Jays did this trade just for this trade. And I'll explain why. You get two arms. Obviously, Adam Macko, he's not going to be in the big leagues this year. He's a prospect. He was one of their top 10 prospects. I think he was like 8th or 7th, something like that in their system. I'll start with Erik Swanson though, because he's obviously the big piece coming back. You get a right-handed arm who had an ERA last year of 1.68. Almost had a 2 WAR out of the bullpen, had a 1.8 WAR. He pitched in 57 games and threw 53 and 2/3 innings. So he was used quite a bit. And I know Mariner fans will be like, well, he only got used once in the playoffs, this and that. Scott Service didn't end up using. You also remember Scott Service used Robbie Ray against Jordan Alvarez, and we all know what happened there, right? So it's like, it is what it is. I'm not going to go off of that. The thing the Jays fans are going to like about what we see from Erik Swanson is the 10 walks in 53 innings and the 70 strikeouts. And he only allowed 3 home runs in 53 and 2/3 innings, and also had a strikeouts per 9 of 11.7, something the Jays don't really have. We've talked about it, strikeout stuff out of the bullpen. People are like, yeah, well, you didn't have to spend this much on a reliever, this and that. Look, I get it. Teo is an expiring contract. He will be gone after next year. And I understand people are going to probably say, well, you're not playing for the following years. You got to win now. And I get that. I totally do. So this is where I'm going to counter this. I don't think the Jays are done. You would not I'm sorry, people are going to say how Ross Atkins and Marcus Paparo are awful, right? And you hear that Shatkins. You're going to hear that all over the place, right? These guys are not stupid. I don't know how many times I have to tell people they're not stupid. They're not. They have a plan. They wouldn't trade Teo, let Tapio walk, and be like, yep, our outfield is good. Well, no, you have massive holes all over the place. So and we've already heard that the Jays are talking with Brandon Nimmo. How deeply, I don't know. And they're going to probably go for a center fielder. And there are lots of outfielders there when it comes to the trade market, whether it comes to, the free agent market. There's still some guys out there as well, lefty bats in particular. And I'm just going to use Brandon Nimmo. Now, I don't think that'll happen. I don't think the Jays are going to get Brandon Nimmo, but I'll use him as an example because he's a lefty bat, he's a center fielder. What this now does is it opens up George Springer to play right, which you will be able to conserve him more, which means he, in hindsight, will be healthier throughout the season, right? And if you bring in, let's say, a Brandon Nimmo, it's a left-handed bat, which Jays fans are freaking out about at all times, and at this point in his career is a better center fielder than George Springer. You can't sit here and tell me you didn't get better defensively in the outfield. Springer in right is substantially better than Teo in right. And Nimmo, like I said, at his age, is better than Springer in center field. And a left-handed bat. It would make so much sense if something like that was to happen. Now, again, that's assuming that Brandon Nimmo signs, which is not going to happen. These guys are not stupid. They know what they're doing. So that, for me, before I say the Jays got fleeced, before I say it's an awful trade, this and that, I'm waiting. I am waiting to see what happens next before I make that call. As a straight up one for one, basically, with Swanson and Teo, yeah, it's painful. It is. Because of the love we have for Teoscar Hernandez. But I'm going to show you guys one thing. It's all analytics nowadays, right? So, this is what Erik Swanson's percentiles look like. And let me put it into perspective for you. Anything that's in the dark reds are pretty damn good. Okay? I'll just leave that there for you. Yeah, those dark reds are damn good. Now, obviously the fastball velocity, it's not the greatest, right? But everything else is incredible for Erik Swanson. So he's going to go into that bullpen as a key piece. Won't be the closer. We already know that, which is fine. But he's going to be a big piece of that pen. So now let's quickly get to Adam Macko. And I'm going to try and, like, you guys will probably already see this by now. You might see some clips in here. I'm going to try and see if I can squeeze some in here for you guys. A little Erik Swanson stuff, and see if I can get some Adam Macko stuff. And I don't know. I might try to do a Teoscar. I don't know. I probably not, because it's painful for me to look at. Adam Macko is a left-handed pitcher. He's in the minor leagues, Advanced A. An ERA of 3.99 last year in Advanced A. He's 21, right? So you're kind of at that stage where you want him to kind of take that next step. He pitched 38 and a third innings down there in Advanced A. The one knock that I saw so far is he walked 20 guys in 38 and a third innings. Put that in perspective. In 53 and 2/3, so that's 15 more innings. Erik Swanson walked half of the guys. So it tells you the walks are pretty high, but in 38 and a third innings, he had 60 strikeouts. So there are positives, there are negatives out of this guy. He averaged 5 walks per 9 innings, which is not pretty. He started in Advanced A and whatnot. His average strikeouts, though, per 9 innings in his career, not just last year, in his career, or 14. That's a ton. So the talent is there, the stuff is there. It's just kind of molding it, bringing the walks down, and I think that would help him a ton. Now, will it be down the road? Who knows? The Jays added, a surplus. They traded from a spot where they have a lot of. And let's be honest, Jays fans, how many times this year were we hammering that the Jays offense is so one-dimensional? Well, Teoscar Hernandez was part of that one-dimensional core. So again, I'll say this. It's what the Jays do next that is where I say, okay, was this a good trade or not? If they go into the season like this, with this outfield, I'll be like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the move. But if they go out there and they add an impact, preferably an impact lefty bat to play center field, then I'm sitting here like, okay. Then I look at this deal like a lot better, because people are going to look at it like from the offensive side of things, and you lose Teoscar and it sucks. But you look back to 2015, right, Jays fans? Defensively, the Jays were one of the best teams in the league. Yeah, they could mash the baseball, but defensively, they were outstanding. Last year, let's be honest, Jays fans, defensively, there were a lot of problems. And George Springer being on the field a lot more, yeah, that'll help you. So it could be a domino effect, but it's a wait-and-see game. I like the raw talent looking of Adam Macko at 21 years old, and shout out to him. He went to high school in Alberta. He's actually from Slovakia, which is kind of crazy. So in hindsight, he's an honorary Canadian. And for Erik Swanson, good arm. It's a bullpen guy. It's, really good numbers last year, but we'll wait and see. Jays fans, Mariners fans, that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you guys, like the trade, don't like the trade from either side, smack that like button anyways. Hit the subscribe button if you guys are not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the trade. What do you like? What do you not like from this deal between the Jays and the Mariners? Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM to that great stuff. There's a Discord link down below that we just recently created. So go down there, join up, we chat all Blue Jays stuff. So go down there and check that stuff out in the description. Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. And I'll talk to you guys, Raptors edition tonight as they host Kyle Lowry and the Heat at 7:30. And as for the Leafs, they're back in action tomorrow night as they host the New Jersey Devils at 7 o'clock. And as for the Toronto Blue Jays, maybe I'll be talking to you guys very soon, Catcher edition, as they make a deal, trading away one of those guys. I don't know. Clearly, the front office isn't scared about trading one of the key guys. So we'll wait and see how it all plays out, though. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And you're going to miss Teo. We'll talk to you guys then.